So make sure you remember this information as for now, and that's why I'm going to include this last part of the tutorial, which is setting up our configuration file, because we're just going to put this information into our configuration file again. That way we won't have to remember it. So let's set up all the information that we need to connect to our database. First is going to be our username, and this is just setting up variables. You put a $, and then whatever your variable name is. You don't have to say like string username or int username. You just put a $. PHP is pretty sweet like that. So just go ahead and put username and then type in the username we just created, which was Trav. If you guys are reading the blog post, it's going to be Travis, but the one we just created or I just created is Trav. The next thing that we want to do is have our password that we just created. Again, this is going to be bacon1 or whatever your password for that user was. The next thing that we want to do is set up where we're hosting our database. So we're going to say $host, and this is going to be localhost because it's going to be the same server that we're running these PHP scripts off of, if that makes sense. Whoops, that should be localhost, my bad. And then lastly, our database name. So db name equals, and this is going to be web service. Actually, again, for this video series, web service 1, but I'm just going to leave it at web service. Now, that's pretty much all of our credentials. In this tutorial, I have no idea how long it is, but it seems like it's getting long. So the last thing I want you guys to do is just go to our blog post here, and I have the code to actually connect to our database with a bunch of comments. So you guys can read through that. As you can see, here's the information that we just set up, and right here each line pretty much has a good chunk of information about what it does. So to save yourself time, just go ahead and copy to clipboard and paste that within your configuration file, and then go ahead and make your changes here to relate to that information you just set up. Make sure you guys kind of read through this. All we're doing is adding a little bit of security, some options, and then we connect to our database. So anytime we use this config file and it starts a session, which doesn't really apply to us, but anytime we include this config file, like if we went and saved this and then we went into our index.php file and we said like include or require config.include.php, anytime we do something like this, it's going to connect to our database for us. So now we don't have to remember what our username is or our password or any of that information, because we just include this configuration file and we're connected to our database. We can alter things within our tables and all that information. So again, this is kind of confusing if you guys don't know anything about PHP, and I actually got this configuration file from a different forum. I think it was a forum post on building a secure login. You guys can check that out, give him props because it's pretty sweet. Like I said, this tutorial series isn't so much about security or PHP or MySQL. It's more about the interaction. So you guys might want to come check this forum post out because it's got a lot of good stuff about building a simple and secure login. So you guys might want to check that out later. Anyways, we're taking that from him. So thanks for that, dude. I appreciate it. And we have set up our config file. We have set up our database. We have set up our user, privileged user. Now all we have to do is create some PHP scripts and our Android app. So pretty awesome. I know it's kind of boring going through some of this stuff, especially because this tutorial is so long, but I really do appreciate you guys watching this, checking out, sharing it, and we will see you in the next tutorial. See you guys later. Peace.